Hi, welcome everyone to Lantern Light Adventures. Tonight we're going to be playing the Old God stories. Old God of Appalachia, the Old Stories, the Breathing Mountain. I am Jen, and I will be going by the storyteller tonight. Let's let players introduce themselves, and we'll go through the top of the order with Alex. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hey, I'm Lex Wilson. My friends call me Alex, and so can you. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character, Alistair Blake, who his friends call him Dare, as can you. He is a brash protector who knows Jack.
Mal, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mal or Archangelic. My pronouns are she, her, and tonight I'm going to be playing Teresa Shaw, the superstitious sage who cannot escape the darkness. Her pronouns are she, her.
Sir Heck, please introduce yourself.
Hey everybody. I'm Sarah or Sir Heck a lot. Either work. I respond to them equally at this point, and that's as alarming as you think it might be. I use she, they pronouns. And tonight I am playing Beatrice Huckle, who uses she, her pronouns and is a neighborly explorer who does what needs doing.
Thank you for that. And last but not least, Soliloquy, please introduce yourself.
Hello, friends. My name is Soliloquy or Jaden. Either works for me, and I use they them pronouns. You can find me most places online as Fasaffic Bro. I'll be playing Jasper Joaquin Vicente, he they pronouns, who is a hardy protector who defends what matters. Welcome back to our space here at Lantern Light Adventures. This is home to all of our TTRPG and related content on Twitch. All of our games are also uploaded to our Lantern Light Adventures YouTube channel. There's a link to our link tree in the chat right now that you can click, and it'll take you to all of our various social media pages so you can follow us everywhere we are. If you want to keep up to date on everything we're doing, feel free to also join our Discord, which is linked in the chat. If you want to play with us or GM for us, fill out the TTRPG actual play interest form, which you can find linked in our link tree and in the chat. And once you fill out that form, I'll email you back with our TTRPG consent form, and then we can match you to games from there. Thanks for joining us today for the Old Stories, The Breathing Mountain, our horror-themed Old Gods of Appalachia actual play. We'll be streaming this game every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. PST. Remember that this is a horror-themed game, so please care for yourselves as needed. As for where you can find us the rest of the week, on most Sundays, excluding the last Sunday of the month, from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. PST, we stream Era of the Dragons, our D&D 5e actual play. On most Mondays from 5 to 7 p.m. PST, Archangelic, our lovely producer Polygeist, and myself have been streaming our playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. If you'd like to play with us as a guest, reach out to me anytime. Otherwise, feel free to come and hang out with us while we play. Most Tuesdays from 6 to 9 p.m. PST, we stream An Empty Dream. That's our Girl by Moonlight actual play. We also record an audio cast after show for each of our games where we go over any necessary advancement steps and debrief from the game. You can listen to these for free on our Patreon at patreon.com/lanternlightadventures. All of these after shows will always be free, but we appreciate any contributions and support as it helps us continue to bring you awesome queer content. And finally, throughout the month of June, as a celebration of Pride Month, we'll be raising money alongside Pride Revolution in support of the Trans Empowerment Project. The link and information can be found in the chat. And in support of a free Palestine, we will be financially supporting a family through the Pass the Hat project. More information for that will be shared once we are assigned our family. Thanks so much. Back to you, Jen.
All right. Thank you all and welcome. Now I'm going to do a bit of a preamble before we introduce our characters into the story. The first warning. This story is one that gathers itself at the base of a coal mountain, hungry and wanting as it takes as much as it gives, setting a price in coughing lungs, lost fathers and sons. Gathered in the holler below sits the town of Timber. The population booming only in the fact that the young finally outweigh the loss of the elderly and the lost sons and fathers. Not sure if that's a victory in itself, but honestly, it's all Timber has. Aside from the coal and the greedy, hungry black mouth of the mountain. This is a story that starts years ago with the echoing knocks of the first warning the miners skip before they are forced scrambled to a lift that will usher them to safety. Sweat, heat presses in all around them, and the miners as the great earth shakes around them, sending skittering rocks across the ground, bringing dirt down from above. Chaos and panic. rapid breathing of breath and gasping air, hearts pounding like jackrabbits in their chests as the lift groans as it slides slowly down to them. So terribly slow. It should be faster, right? It's supposed to be faster. The knocks are getting louder, echoing up from the tunnel behind them, urging them, warning them, practically yelling at the miners to flee this bore tunnel they have forced into the land for black and gold that is killing them. Perhaps the only kindness they will ever have from this mountain. The panic sets in. The men are jittery. When finally, as the deep hollow crack of stone is heard behind them, the lift arrives. No time to think on that. No time to acknowledge the mountain. Coal mines are collapsing behind them because salvation is here for them. And it will urge them, and the most desperate of them will push forward, trampling, stumbling, clinging to their lives in this kind of futile hope. Hope only those who have seen the shape of death and know its name can have. Blackened smoke of coal dust coils abruptly out of the mountain's throat as the company watches helplessly, as the lift buckles and nearly snaps, as the land shakes around them, roaring its own fierce anger. Light from lanterns snuff out as air rolls across the land and out into the clear Kentucky air, as if the mountain is expelling all the company from its lungs. Stumbling men shouts from the foreman as the lift barely reaches the top. Its top hatch flings open as the chaos and desperation of the men scramble out. 14 men went into the mountain and only 5 returned. The mountain has taken its price. That night, the stars fell from the sky, sinking the town of Timber into bleak darkness. Welcome! It's 1925. 10 years or so have passed, and the town of Timber is blossoming. Sure, it still relies on mountain for coal, but clever souls have found something else to do, and put kindly, stick it to the man. Moonshine has found its way into the town of Timber, and runners are bringing black money and trade to the town, something it hasn't seen for some time. Unions are trying to form, but it's difficult. Boy, is it difficult, as it's no interest to the company that has found its way and sunk its teeth into this town of Timber. And Timber itself is quite happy to not let outsiders in. Now, Timber doesn't care for outsiders, but it does care for its father's sons, mother's daughters who are dying still in that mountain, but they're quite happy just to make a pretty buck. It's a bit of conflict through the town. They all know the mountain seeks prices for what it has been taken, so to say. It's more of a wait and see approach. See which side wins, the moonshine or the mountain. It doesn't really matter. Not at all, so they say. They could find another way. They could leave this ramshackle town, but money's money. And money's good. But there's always a price. Here we find our intrepid troop, standing before a young man named Jonas. He's shouting, calling to them, asking whether the price of coal is worth the lives of their sons and daughters and mothers and fathers, black lung, what have you. Jonas is trying his best to form a union, but man, the company men know what they're doing. And the town of Timber is waiting and seeing. Now, as you all gather watching poor Jonas make his speech, tell me what you're doing. Introduce yourselves. We'll start in the same order of introductions. Now, Alex, who are you and what do you look like, and what does Jonas mean to you?
I'm Alistair Blake. My friends call me Dare. I am a kind of a labor disorganizer. I'm about 5'10", scrawny, wiry. I'm kind of fit in the way that kind of doesn't look healthy or doesn't feel healthy. Like he catabolizes his own muscles in order to just have energy for the day. Beard stubble, cowlicky brown hair, blue eyes. He's in his 40s. He's got a local accent. He was born in this area and moved out west for a little bit to be with his father. His father's no longer with us, and now he's back here. He spent like a day in the mines, maybe a week, before he realized that this is not for him, and he saw himself getting stuck in his father's footsteps. And he decided to be a bread maker, and that's what he's doing right now by day, and by night he's making a little trouble. He's doing what Jonas is probably doing more, but he's doing it more subtly and probably with a little bit of violence and recklessness. He is a protector in the sense that he believes that sometimes things got to burn down in order to build back up again. Yeah, he's wearing suspenders, a kind of a nice shirt, but it's not very clean, and trousers and a flat cap. Right now, he is sort of listening and thinking to himself, "This guy is going to get himself killed," and not in a good way.
As those thoughts form into your mind, Mal, you see Jonas trying his best to preach to these local people, but he's only getting a few nods, and you see the company man kind of watching with this kind of giddy glee in his face. Who are you, what you do, and what are your thoughts on Jonas?
Um, Teresa is a like kind of average height. Um, she's in her 30s. She has brown hair that she keeps in braids. She's in town wearing uh her late husband's overcoat from the war. And she is just in town mostly to, well, what she does in this town is after her husband died, that she needed to find a way to make ends meet. And part of that is that she reads cards for the people in the town. They come to her, she listens. Um, the way she sees it, her granny taught her to read cards, and she her granny always told her people tell you what they want to hear if you just listen. And that's kind of what she does. She pulls cards, tells people a little bit of what they want to hear, but also kind of interjects her own advice where it may not be welcome in another setting. um as she kind of navigates this town alone. She is looking at Jonas, and she doesn't feel that this is her place to speak up. um Everyone knows her, husband died, just one of those freak accidents that happen in the mines sometimes. um and she knows Jonas is looking out for people like her late husband Owen. And but she doesn't speak up. She just looks around, sees who's looking, and knows that if the company cracks down on anything or anything goes south, as in so many places across the mining towns have happened, bad things happen sometimes, and she wants to be a little bit of a shelter in the storm if something were to go down. So she's just looking to see if anything might go sideways.
Common occurrence across towns like this, especially ones that are booming. Now, Sir Heck, who are you? What do you do? Your opinion on Jonas, as he's standing there in his youthfulness, trying to bring everything into order.
Yeah, so I'm playing Beatrice tonight. Beatrice Huckle is a um kind of late 20s woman who's about 5'7" ish, with hazel eyes and these round spectacles that she's looking through, and kind of take in the entire scene. She stops scribbling in her journal to do so. And it's actually kind of rare to see something that takes your attention away from that. Um, she is wearing simple clothes, so it's kind of a white blouse and a brown skirt with some boots, a long skirt. Um, as she's kind of looking at Jonas and seeing the responses and lack thereof um, to what he's saying, she just thinks that what a brilliant mind and what a very strong heart this person has. Um, she only wishes that an intrepid hiker like him can hopefully surmount the mountain that is this company.
Braveheart indeed. This young upstart is trying his best to save lives. But the company won't hear any of it. You know this. And as we pan over to Soliloquy, tell me about yourself. Who are you and who you playing and what are your opinions on Jonas?
Jasper Joaquim Vicente is a hardy protector who defends what matters. He's 32 years old, uses he, they pronouns. Um, he's about 6 feet tall, fat, broad, muscly, dark curly hair, dark eyes, facial hair that's dark and keeps trimmed. Um, he was best friends with Teresa's husband, childhood best friends. They grew up together. And when Teresa's husband started working in the mines, he hadn't realized how dangerous it would be. He asked Jasper to take care of her if anything were to happen to him. Unfortunately, he was lost to the mines. And so now Jasper is Teresa's right hand, bodyguard, confidant, just general help. Jasper comes from Brazilian and Portuguese ancestry, second, third generation immigrant. And after seeing and experiencing the loss of his best friend to the mines, he is very enraptured in what Jonas has to say and in his quest to get better protections for the mine workers.
And Jonas preaches. He preaches about the safety and what the Union could do, how protection and guaranteed money for all the people around him could be of the benefit. This young, bright-eyed man with curly brown hair, calloused hands, dirty clothes, he could be a miner, but the issue is he's not of timber. He's an outsider to this land. And while people in Appalachia can be quite happy to welcome in somebody else, they are outsiders. And Timber has let him know more than once that he's only as welcomed as they let him be welcome. However, somebody very familiar and of Timber is Mr. McCavish, the company man. He's been here since God knows when, knows how long. He's just been here. He's a well-dressed man. Tweed coat, nice hat, wrinkles around his eyes, grandfatherly figure, more or less. He leans kind of on a cane, clean, presentable, well-known. His hands are calloused, but everyone forgives him for not working in the mine. He's old. Why would he be in the mine? He has other things to do. And he's also the man who puts food on the table. And people that loathe and hate and hope to be. He is a man of standing. And he's of timber. And he kind of straightens himself up as Jonas continues his preaching and moves forward towards the box and addresses all of you. My. Well, this young lad has a lot of spunk, doesn't he? I hate to say it, but unions are good. But they'll take a cut of all your money, your hard work, your homes. We don't want that. As he turns to the crowd, you all see various nodding. Mr. McCavish continues on as he strides forward, kind of half limping. Something's wrong with his leg. And he says, "Now, I give you all fair and ample wages, I hope. I hope the hunting season is going to see a lot of good deer on your table, and I hope to see myself at each of your tables around Thanksgiving or even Christmas. Now, Mr. Jonas here, as he turns back to the young man, might have some points, but remember, we are timber and we stick together. As he gives a flashy smile and bows ahead, you hear a smattering of applause as Jonas looks very flustered. Jonas kind of shifts his weight a bit and he kind of tries to get the crowd back under control. Mr. McCavish might be nice and everything, but your homes are important. And Union, you see something whiz past Jonas's head. A tomato. Crowd has had enough of this. And you hear more shouts and calls and disruption starting to gather, disrupting Jonas's speech. And you see the young man admitting defeat as he kind of steps back off the soapbox he's been standing on and kind of tosses his hand, shaking his head, and goes towards the end. Mr. McCavish is talking to some people, and you do see the old foreman, Silas, kind of watching and glaring from back of the crowd towards Mr. McCavish. What would you like to do?
I want to see if I can. You said a tomato
Mm.
got tossed at him. Who
Mm.
tossed that? What young brigand threw a tomato?
What wealthy young brigand can afford?
Perfectly good tomato.
Yeah.
A perfectly good tomato in the middle of backwater Kentucky.
You must really hate that guy.
I would say make me a sightsee inspection, whatever that is on your sheet.
I am not sure how to do this. I'm just gonna roll a die and tell you a number.
That's perfectly fine. If you don't have something that is of that, you would just make a flat roll.
Okay.
You'd be not trained in it, so that would be
Okay.
whatever you get is whatever you get.
I got a 15.
You got a 15. Okay, that's good. That's good enough. You see somebody in the back. He's not well dressed, but he's not dirty. He's of timber. You know him more to be a town center kind of folk. He's kind of this oddball of a man, but he once you kind of lock eyes with him, he kind of shuffles away. And I would say you can roll a knowledge check or something along history, something that would allow you to gain information.
Okay. I don't think I have anything relevant, so that's only a 9.
You just know he's some kind of townie. You just don't know his name. You just know he's about, but I'm not sure entirely what he's about.
Teresa will just make a mental note. I gotta talk to that boy's mama.
And you will. And it'll get around town quick, because that's how these towns are.
I go up to Jonas.
All right. He stops right before he goes into the inn and looks towards you, kind of looking you over.
And I say, we got a card game. You should join us later. Be in the back room after like some obscenely late time at night on a weeknight, like 1 a.m. Get a lot of good ideas. And, a lot of bad ways of going about it.
Roll me convince, persuasion, or some kind of skill that would be of that nature.
Okay, I'm even newer to this system than my friend is. So how do you roll in this software?
So on your card, if you click on your, oh, forgot this is not Roll20. Let's see.
In the chat, there is I think if you just do /roll, like 1d20, we should roll a d20 for you.
Okay.
Unless you are
Yes.
trained in something.
Yes, if you are trained, let's see.
Trained in what was it? Persuasion?
Persuasion, if you have it. If you're not trained in it, then it's just a flat 20. Or a flat roll.
Sensing law. Nope, I'm not. D20 is not a valid chat message command.
Slash
Hmm?
roll.
Slash roll and then 1d20. All space between the roll 1
Got
and
it.
d. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, 19.
Not bad
Oh,
for my first roll. I think I'm going to
no,
retire.
not at all.
Thank you, everybody.
You-
Good night. I had a
you
really good
did
time.
good. Yeah. You won the game.
That's right. That's right. After conquering Dungeons and Dragons,
Jonas kind of looks you over and holds out his hand. What's your name, friend?
I think you're muted.
friends call me Dare.
Dare. All right. Dare. I'm Jonas. He gives a nod of his head.
I nod back, tip my hat.
Jonas
Try to-
kind of eyes you a bit.
Well, try to stay alive till 1.
I'll do my best. If you want a drink, let me know. As he kind of gives a final nod, sliding into the inn.
What do they serve is in that inn?
Well, the local moonshiner, George,
Okay.
has a variety of moonshine, particularly apple moonshine this time of year, which is odd. You would find it odd.
Why is that?
It's the wrong season.
Mm-mm. Well, as long as he's old enough to drink, I'm sure he'll have a good time.
16's old enough.
Welcome to Appalachia.
Hope you survive the experience.
I mean, if it's illegal to drink, there ain't no drinking age.
That's fair.
That's why I was wondering what they were serving at the end. Like, is this
You get the sense, I would say, Dare, that cops don't care. Company pays well.
they could pay better.
What are you doing, Beatrice?
I'm kind of curious to see what the man in the tweed coat is saying to these people that he's just kind of like gone off to have a side conversation with. Can I drop some eaves?
Yeah, you could definitely drop some eaves. Are you dropping some eaves around Mr. McCavish or the crowd in general, or are you going to the inn/tavern? What have you?
I think the little like conversation circle, whoever, like I'm not sure how many people he's actually talking to in like this like side conversation, but like yeah, like I will listen to that.
Yeah, roll me some eavesdropping.
I was actually wondering if I could use one of my abilities. 'Cause I'm just doing this out the gate.
Uh-huh.
Because I have the ability know thy neighbor. I think I can actually put the description in chat. Let me try.
Uh-huh.
It works. Yes.
Fantastic.
I spend points to essentially get information. So I think this would apply over the drawing conclusion simply, but by what I see and hear.
Mm-hmm. So you gather, make sure you mark the 2 intelligent points. So I would say you would gather a couple things because of this ability. You know that there's a meeting possibly going on with Jonas. And you know that Mr. McCavish is sweet talking a lot of people. He has a sly demeanor about him for an old man. And you know that Silas looks like he is gunning for Mr. McCavish, as in he's ready to hit this old man.
Ooh, okay.
You see the whispers kind of spread as Silas pulls himself upwards. What about you, Jasper? What are you doing?
I think right now, Jasper is just observing, kind of hanging back side by side with Teresa and just watching, listening.
I would say because you're watching and listening, you definitely see Silas kind of pull himself upwards. And he is going for Mr. McCavish. And I would say you'd know a man ready to hit somebody after a few nights, a few drinking nights. And he's gonna go hit this old man if nobody stops him.
I eat some popcorn.
Teresa, I think we're about to have some trouble here.
I mean, I can't say the man ain't got it coming, but we should maybe let's let him get a swing in, and then we'll stop him.
Sounds good. So I'm just gonna stand here and just watch the show.
Yeah, and a show is had. Silas does not miss. He's a miner. He's the foreman. He's the one who goes up that mountain with a bunch of his men and digs out that black gold. And Silas got a hook to him. And you see Mr. McCavish fall to the ground as his big thunk hits his face, and you see Silas kind of glaring down at him. I would say anyone who wants to can make me a notice roll. Perception, sight, what have you.
I only got a 9. Although I'm trained in sensing danger.
Uh-huh.
So
Amazing.
I would say because you're trained in sensing danger, you would pick up on this. So you can, yeah, I'll say that. And Beatrice allows for a GM intrusion to
Yeah,
occur.
first one of the game, right out the gate. Let's go. We're stretching all of the mechanics really early.
We're doing this right out of the bat. Love it.
Yeah.
This is the cold open. I love it.
I know. It's just like as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. Cool.
Fantastic. Oh, let me just pull up Mr. McCavish's
At least
seat.
I get an XP for this.
Yes, you do get XP. So the way the cyber systems work, stepping back as a GM, as a storyteller, real quick, if you fail a roll in this game, you get XP because it's a failing forward system. We reward nat ones here. So it encourages storytelling and nat ones, and it's okay to roll a nat one because you get XP, and I get to do cool things as a GM, such as intrusions. Anybody else want to roll to see if we're really gonna go out of the ballpark with this?
I think I just roll that flat and it's 13.
Fantastic. You would see this too, I would say. All right. I would say, Beatrice, make me an intelligent defense roll. You are hindered by 1 step, so you would be at a disadvantage. So,
Okay. How do we do that in Foundry? It's like I remember how to do this in Roll 20, but
yeah, it's a bit weird in Foundry. I would give it that. Mm-hmm.
If it turns you into a chipmunk, then the
Like,
audience
I
will
just
really
don't
get
know
that
how to
joke.
make
I love it.
rolls, and that makes me sad.
So I would make a defense roll, and I would bring it. I would just say it's a -1 to whatever roll you make.
Oh, okay.
That's how we'll do it here. So I'm a bit more familiar with the Foundry side of Cypher.
14.
Okay. Okay. You will take 1 point of intelligence damage to your pool, to your intelligence pool. And I would say because you notice things there, Teresa, and you would notice you would know Jasper. You both would see Mr. McCavish's eyes are not that lovely, pleasant blue for just a split second. And then you just see the old man cowering, holding his face, and you see his company kind of rushing to his aid. You see this too, as well as Beatrice, but it's so brief. You're not even sure if it's you or just the way the light is. You're not entirely sure, but something just feels a bit off. Your mind's a bit rattled. And he stands up with the help of his company, and Silas just glares before marching off. Nobody stops him. And Silas has gone up the mountain.
Well, at least he blew off whatever's bothering him.
For the time being, at least.
I
You
think
we-
Beatrice is just like fanning herself with her notebook.
Dare's a little disappointed. He wanted a little bigger of a kind of conflagration. But, these add up.
A lot of people are in the same boat as you, Dare. A lot of people wanted to see this go down between two old gruff men who have a lot of opinions. But the crowd starts to disperse once Silas marches up the hill and Mr. McCavish is standing up, being led away with a pat to his cheek by Miss Brown and Miss Jamie. Miss Jenny Brown is the proprietor at the local shop, and Miss Jamie is the school teacher. Both lovely, lovely ladies. Um, they're doting on this old man, as kindly women do, and crowd kind of goes back to their daily chores and daily ways of life. You do see George kind of drop some moonshine off for the inn, but he's scattered away. He doesn't stay too long around the town. He's a bit skittish. But you can talk to various people if you wish. Mr. McCavish has an open door policy to his home, and Silas is up the mountain, and the inn's open to anybody, and there's always the town people.
What do you think, Jasper? Should we go and talk to old Silas? See what bee he has in his bonnet?
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
Yeah. Teresa will gather up what things she came into town for. Kind of start making her way. Kind of looks to see if anyone else is, kind of concerned about Silas, but will eventually start slowly making her way up to Silas's place.
Mm-hmm.
I will,
Yeah,
of
I'd like
course, follow.
to. I'd be interested in knowing what made him stop.
Mm-hmm. And you,
Um,
Beatrice?
I think Beatrice would go and talk with Miss Jamie. Go or up to both her and Jenny Brown. Kind of gauge
Alright.
their temperature on everything that just went down.
Sure thing. Not being rude, I'm making notes.
I get you.
All right. Okay. All right. Three of you will go after Silas, while you, Beatrice, and I will have this small get together with Miss Jamie and Miss Jenny Brown.
um, if Dare walks up alongside Teresa, she'll just give a nod and say, "Disappointed? Didn't get your show today?
There's always tomorrow.
Now that there is."
You let me know. If you see it in the cards.
I will. My door's always open.
Appreciate that.
Right. As you go up the mountain, you know it's going to be a bit of a steep walk, but as you're kind of conversing with each other, you, Beatrice, can catch up with Miss Jamie and Miss Jenny Brown. They're kind of gossiping in the way that old wives do. Miss Jenny Brown looks to be in her late 60s, where Miss Jamie is about early 20s at best.
Yeah, I think just kind of walking up to them, I was like, I feel like they share that glance of like, oh, we're talking, we're talking, and yeah, I mean, she'll kind of partake in the gossip a little bit as well. Just well, I haven't seen something like that in quite a time. At least not something so public.
Well, Miss Jamie kind of pats her blouse and smooths out her skirt. I heard that Silas and Mr. McCavish have something going on, and it's not pretty. I think Silas wants the union, but I can't tell. As far as I'm concerned, Jenny Brown interjects. Now hush, girl. Don't be gossiping about Mr. McCavish like that. She kind of gives you a side eye and then looks to Miss Jamie, kind of leaning back on the house she's up against. Silas is a good man. So's Mr. McCavish. They have taken care of this town. But I heard it's about those miners dying last week. Silas has had enough. He's up to his neck in burials.
I mean, quite frankly, I don't blame him. I mean, what happens when two good men have very different opinions on how to solve the same problem.
Miss Jamie laughs. Mr. McCavish, a good man? Honey, Mr. McCavish just want money. That's all he wants.
Now who's the one gossiping? I thought we were keeping the public politeness, but can't say I disagree.
She laughs. Oh, Beatrice, don't you worry. Mr. McCavish is going to take care of Timber, right? So, too. If he wasn't so old, I wouldn't mind. Jenny Brown shoots her a look and then looks back to you. Beatrice, run along to your mammy. We don't want any of this anymore. We got a lot of work to do, and I'm pretty sure, she looks down towards your journal, you got a lot to do, too.
I can respect that. Afternoon. Nods and kind of goes about her way.
As you leave, Jenny Brown and Miss Jamie kind of part ways. Jenny Brown will go back to her store, and Miss Jamie will go back to the school. She has one student, one who actually cares about their education at this time. So that's where she'll go. But as we turn over to the other three, the march of the hill is steep. I mean, these mountains are old and the forests are even older. It's hard to tell which came first at this point in time. But you see the trails Silas is marching up. And he's maybe 100 yards at this point in front of you. But these woods swallow light and sound like no other. And it's quiet.
You said he's about 100 yards up.
About 100 yards.
Silas?
See him pause and turn towards you. Yeah.
Everything all right?
Just fine, Miss Teresa.
Now you know you can just call me Teresa. Ain't no miss about it.
He looks towards your company, the two that have joined you. Maybe less polite company, I would call you Teresa, but we are all polite company, aren't we?
I tip my hat.
No need for formality for me.
See him kind of rub his eyes and sit down at a rock. Red stained rust thing, just like the rest of the mountain. And he kind of sighs in a heavy, weary way. And he gestures for all of you to join him.
I lean against a tree nearby, yeah.
Yeah, Teresa will kind of sidle up and say, now I don't have a lot of love for Mr. McCavish, but why'd you have to go and punch him in the middle of town?
See him kind of wiggle his head and kind of concedes the point and says, I know. Shouldn't have done it. Ma'am would be very disappointed if she still were alive, but I'm tired of losing my men to that mountain. Safety precautions are off the walls, and I don't know what to do anymore.
So why'd you stop?
It's the only thing protecting those boys is me.
I nod, like respect.
Well, I mean, you fuck around, you find out, and Mr. McCavish does nothing but fuck around.
Language in front of a lady kind of gestures towards Teresa.
She knew he was
please.
going to say that.
She's heard way worse from me. Trust.
Ain't like you and the boys don't talk like that back at home.
No, but it's still polite. As he kind of gives you a look, but gives a small chuckle. His darkened features lighten his mood a bit better now.
Speaking of different ways of speaking, what'd you think of that Jonas?
Some northern upstart buck. You don't know us.
You don't think he had kind of a point and we all kind of work together? We might be able to make more of a difference than if just one of us is punching at a time?
I suppose. Just Mr. McCavish. He kind of leans forward and kind of hunches his shoulders. Mr. McCavish will threaten my boys.
Has he threatened your boys already?
He's threatened me. I won't let him near my boys.
Well, the thing about a
Looks-
union might be that a lot of people won't let them near your boys. If we were, pro-union.
You see him kind of consider your words for a moment. Make a persuasion roll, just a flat d20 if you don't have it.
I just rolled another 19.
Yeah, you did. Game's over, guys. We can go home.
Yeah, I don't know. This feels like it feels like a glitch, but I don't want to correct it. So
Gotta
I'm
leave
not
it on a high
rebooting.
note.
Don't do it.
no.
Don't do it.
What
It's
else
your
can I roll?
chipmunk voice.
Charisma roll. I play the lottery. Is there a lottery in this game?
I would think so. Let's see. Let me make the notes. You see Silas stands, and as he's considering your words, he's a big burly man. He's easily could be mistaken for a bear if he wasn't lumbering like a human should, and kind of approaches you and clasps your shoulder and squeezes it tightly, and you just see a man worn by years suddenly have like the clouds lifted from his eyes. And he's like, all right, but you organize it. So he kind of smiles broadly.
Oh hell, I'm no leader. But I can make room for a new leader. Clear the path, as it were. That's more my thing.
You see him kind of nod respectfully and says, all right, get us together. You see him pause. Can you write?
Never had the patience.
That's all right. My secretary helps me write, so she can help make letters and stuff.
Never had the secretary.
You should become foreman. You get one. You just give one to you. Unannounced. She just showed up.
Really?
He kind of nods. Yeah.
How long ago was that?
He thinks for a moment. About a year now, I would say. She's good. I like her.
You trust her?
As trust as anybody who writes my own letters for me. I mean, she's never done me wrong. She's always made sure I had coffee in the morning, make sure my boys were safe before going up in the mines, made sure their equipment was ready and going. Heck, if I weren't already married, he pauses. She'd make somebody a nice wife, nice partner.
Do me a favor, and for now, don't put anything in writing, especially through her.
All right. Any particular reason?
Well, I have a feeling that if we start fighting for what we deserve, what we need, then the company's going to fight back, and we want to be ready.
Smart.
Now,
Alright.
boys, like we can't be making deals in the middle of the woods like we're a bunch of comic criminals. Now, how about this? I have a stew on at the house. How about y'all come over tonight? Maybe have a little dessert after.
I'd like that, Miss Teresa.
She do make a nice stew.
Should get a rabbit stew recipe. It's awesome. You see Silas stop and kind of catch himself. I gotta get up to the mine. See the boys aren't working today. But
Nice
thanks.
talking to you.
Got a lot of thinking on. He kind of taps the rock that he had been sitting on and heads further into the woods up to the mine.
Teresa will turn to Dare and say, well, what do you make of that?
I don't know. Secretary shows up, want to work for you for out of nowhere, like just do your work for you. I wonder if she's a company man.
Oh yeah, that has McCavish written all over it.
A cab. All company men are bad.
With that, Teresa will actually just like turn to the side and spit, which she wouldn't do in like public, but um well, I got a stew to tend to, so you know where to find me.
Sounds
Oh,
good.
and if you see Beatrice, tell her to come by. She needs to take a load off.
Will do. I gotta go into town and check on my dough.
And yeah, Teresa will walk on. I
Yep.
think Teresa generally assumes that Jasper's going to follow her, so never speaks for Jasper.
Yeah, Jasper basically just kind of is your right hand and stays pretty quiet for the most part and just will follow you where you go. We'll jump in if something happens and your safety is at risk.
Makes it
Mhm.
easier to find Teresa since you're so tall.
True.
So in a crowd, like,
Let's
oh,
think
okay, okay. See Jasper. Teresa must be.
Jasper,
Like the
Yeah.
little balloon thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Teresa definitely has Jasper like holding the like groceries and goods that she got in town.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, you head back to town, go your separate ways when you kind of hit the town center, and you do see Beatrice. She's being somewhat dismissed by Miss Jenny Brown, the elderly shop lady, for gossiping, and yeah, you can talk to her if you wish.
Yeah, we can summarize or we can do the scene, whichever.
I mean, yeah, we can do the scene a little bit. I think
All
it's
right.
fun. First session. Let's
Yeah,
go. Yeah, I think Beatrice will catch y'all's eyes and say Silas doing okay. You all went and checked on him, right?
Yep. His heart's in the right place.
Fortunately, his fist wasn't. At least for
That's
the place he was in.
that's debatable. But we're all gonna meet over at Teresa's for some stew later. So if you'd like to join.
That's so
Uh,
kind. Of course I would.
How was the ruckus around town after we went off?
I think it dispersed pretty quickly, but I don't know. There's probably a lot being said and whispered around. Just not in some places. Just kind of pointedly look at the empty doorway at the general store.
Hmm. Well, I will look forward to hearing about those whispers. Maybe you want to save it for when we're all assembled,
I think that's a mighty fine plan.
and less people around to overhear too. How goes it at the school?
I mean, as good as one student that actually has the desire to learn,
Well,
so
well,
not
well.
great.
Oh, well, what is that student learning right now?
Do I know that storyteller?
I would say you do. You and Miss Jamie are somewhat close. At least she would talk to you and confide in you. It's arithmetic right now, and world history. Not a very good rendition of world history, but it's world history. Um, Even some reading in English. Southern English.
As it goes. It's like I mean, I just imagine the schoolhouse would probably just like the one room kind of
It is
schoolhouse.
very wonderful.
It's like it's very much the one I'm thinking of. It's like I got so much inspiration. Quick derail. So much inspiration from the school days episode of Over the Garden Wall. That is like what I picture in my brain. Um but yeah, no, Beatrice will communicate that information. Just your basic math and history and reading, writing, that kind of.
I'm reminded of my school days, falling asleep mostly. But more power to you if you got the brains for it.
Thank you. Not everyone shares that opinion.
We need more educated people.
Hmm.
Replace people like me in the new world.
No, we need a couple fire starters like you.
Interesting choice of words.
See
I'll see you at Teresa's.
you around.
Day rolls on. Mr. McCavish addresses people as you see him back in the town, kind of doing the rounds a bit. It's got a nice little shiner on his cheek, but he's all smiles, he's all happy. Jonas is still in the inn, still doing whatever he's doing. But the day passes quietly. Mining does not take place today. It's Sunday after all. But sun sets between the claustrophobic valleys of the mountains. The holler kind of pulls itself deep into this velvet, beautiful night. Stars in the sky. What looks to be a half moon. It's a beautiful spring day. Well, spring night now. And boy, are the cicadas loud. Frogs equally as loud, and if there was any time or peace and quiet, it's not tonight. Things gotta do what things gotta do, and it's making babies, apparently, with every other insect and frog on the planet. But you can all gather yourselves at Teresa's as the night just kind of starts lining that moment between not quite twilight, but not quite darkness.
Anything you need done before everyone gets here, Teresa?
She will hand you so she's like at home, she's like has her apron, and her apron has everything she could possibly need in it, in the big pockets in the front. She digs in it, hands you some keys, and says, there's a jug out in the shed, top shelf.
You got it.
And Teresa's in her home, and she is doing the last bit of prep for getting this stew ready, and realizing that company's coming over. Just kind of unknowingly, she uses a little bit of hedge magic to like prep the last bit of vegetable so it cooks. Just, the onions aren't quite soft enough, so she just, as she's stirring, is adding a little touch of magic to it.
Yeah, make me a roll.
Yep.
Nothing in particular, just a roll.
That's an 11.
Okay. As you kind of perform this hedge magic, you see something kind of peek up out of the windows with these kind of white, bright eyes. Curious. A thing made of shadow before it kind of slips back down.
Here's your jug.
You see that just kind of instinctually, like in Teresa's hands, she has like grabbed a handful of salt, just and as she looks at you and she looks back, and I'm going to assume it's not there when she looks back.
No, it seems to literally just slipped away. You would get it was more curious as to what was happening, as it didn't seem hostile to you.
Mm-hmm. She pours the salt back into the container it was in, tosses the rest behind her back, and the little bit that wouldn't come off her hand, and says, yeah, just put it here on the counter. And that is her jug of moonshine that she keeps. That's what she was implying by saying dessert. So
Now I don't know a lot about cooking, but shouldn't the salt go into the stew?
oh, it's already salted enough.
Okay.
And she just kind of eyes the outside a little bit, just hoping not to see whatever she thought she saw.
You see a deer, but deer aren't that terribly uncommon. It's a deer, but it definitely was not the shape of a deer. And you know this herd, I would say, Teresa. They like coming to your place, particularly because you feed them, and every now and then they beg for sugar if you have it, but they're not going to bother you. Which of you arrives first, Dare or Beatrice? Or do you arrive together?
How far outside of town are you? Would it be something where like an escort is a polite thing to do, if not a a helpful thing to do?
I was like, I don't think too far, so it's not too much of a worry.
Okay.
Appreciate the thought though. Um, yeah. I mean, now that Beatrice has word that she's been invited to be there, she probably picks up whatever she needs to back at the house, and then we'll make her way over.
All right, I'll probably arrive last. I pick up a bread that I'd been working on that wasn't necessarily for sale uh, to go with the stew.
Is it a nice sourdough?
Yeah, I've been I started working on it. I learned how to do it during the Spanish bird flu pandemic when I was stuck at home for.
For 3 years.
That's right. Yeah, sure. It's a sourdough.
Okay. You have this nice warm sourdough tucked under your head, bread arm there. And as you're kind of, since you're last, make me a perception check there, Dare. Swear if you get another 19.
It's broken. The system's broken.
No,
Oh my
ruined.
gosh. I put money on this roll. I thought for sure.
So you're coming up the darkened path, the woods kind of scattered, giving way to this nice little house. Lights are on, warm and welcoming at a distance. Beatrice has just slipped in. You're maybe 50 yards away from the house. It's nice, it's welcoming, it's comforting. You do see the herd of deer kind of congregating off to the side, probably getting into Teresa's herb garden at this point, as deer tend to do. And one of the deer just turns its head towards you, and it's wrong. Just for a split second, it's wrong. And then it moves back into the herd, and you kind of lose sight of it. That deer was wrong.
In a world where like this wouldn't be the first weird thing that he has witnessed, like on a scale of 1 to 10, where is this on the weird and freaked out kind of scale?
Too many eyes and sharp teeth. Oops.
Sorry about that.
I
It's all
think
good.
I think you're gonna show us like
No.
thing like whoa. Okay. Okay, that was unnecessary. Uh,
You're telling the mountains it's unnecessary to bring a spook deer.
yeah. It's the first episode. We know it's foreboding. Okay. I already filled with dread. You don't have to put your finger on the scale. All right. I sort of nod to myself and go, shit, and I keep walking.
You make it to the cabin, doors shut, but it's warm and welcoming in the cabin. You hear voices of chatter and welcoming as you see people moving inside.
I bring the sourdough to Teresa.
Oh, you didn't have to, but it is appreciated nonetheless.
Thank you. Didn't have to invite us, so happy to contribute.
I just figured it was best to talk about sensitive subjects in a more private setting.
I appreciate that too.
And she will she will say, you can cut it up or I can. Up to you.
I'm just used to breaking them off as needed, so I'll just set it on the table here for people to take as they want.
Works for me. In fact, she will actually like just take like if you rip off a piece, she'll just rip off a piece and eat it while she's fussing around.
That's what it's there for. I toss my hat on a rack. I probably miss. We don't have to roll.
It just frisbees out.
It hits the wall and plops to the ground.
That's right.
Well, I know we're certainly here for good eats. but hopefully there's some good conversation with it. I do appreciate y'all, checking in on Silas after all that.
Yeah, he's rightfully angry.
It's good for all of us to know we're not alone.
I agree, but just in general, it seems most folks are keeping quiet about it, even if they do agree.
Well, I can't blame them, and I'm not one to talk because I've been keeping pretty quiet about what I've been doing too.
Unfortunately, nothing's going to change if folks aren't ready to shake things up a little bit.
I try to keep a low head around here. Don't want folks like sniffing around too much, bothering me. But I don't want Owen's death to be for nothing. If something can change to where fathers don't come home just trying to put bread on the table, got to do something, right?
Yep.
I don't know if
Absolutely.
Jonas is the best choice, but don't mean I think he's wrong.
Well, the thing is, he's already put a target on his back, so why not rally around the target?
Or while everyone's paying attention to the target, be doing something else.
I knew you were smart. That's what
What I read all
education will
those
get you.
books for.
Knew I should have learned how to read better. I can read a little bit. Just
Hey, everyone's got to start somewhere. Got quite a few books if you do want to pick that up again.
maybe someday. Something to look forward to in retirement.
I don't know the time period if like pulp novels are a thing. Like
No clue.
Oh
The
yeah, oh yeah.
1925.
Yeah.
There's dime store. There's magazines. I don't know how
Mhm.
many we get out here, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Comic books are about to be invented in about 10 years, so
Yeah, we're the precursors to that.
Yeah.
Penny Dreadfuls, dime store novels. Yeah.
Hmm.
Frankenstein and Dracula do exist.
You're right.
Nice.
Well, if there's something to be done, how do we go about doing it? What do we, I guess, know so far?
Well, from my accountant, it sounds like Silas at least trusts you, Dare, a little bit.
Well, there's his first mistake, but other than bad judgment, I think his heart's in the right place.
Well, it's definitely something Jonas ain't got.
Yeah, yeah. We don't trust the outsiders. I mean, it took me a long time to overcome people's feeling that I was a coward because I didn't stay working in the mine. So, but at least I'm from the area.
Hmm. Well, I mean, outside of Silas, I guess, is there anyone else? I mean, I can probably talk to Jamie. She and I pretty much see eye to eye on this kind of thing. Um, I will say, that Jenny Brown, the general store, did not super appreciate the gossip. So we might have to count her out.
Was that the scuttlebutt you were referring to earlier that you overheard and got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be her.
Okay. Hmm. Well, I've mostly been working behind the scenes on stuff. When I hear about a shipment coming in, I see what I can do to reroute it. Uh, Big thing lately has been, you know how they pay by the tonnage, miners. Uh, the problem with that is they have to use company scales, and those are a little bit inaccurate in favor of the company sometimes. So with a little bit of adjustment, they can be inaccurate in another way, and so that's the kind of subtle under the table kind of thing that I've been doing. But organizing and punching in the mouth, that's what I aspire to. Don't
I
have the
mean,
patience for organizing though.
Sometimes a punch in the mouth is the best way to start things off.
Amen.
What does your home look like, Teresa? On the inside.
Um, it's she's got a pretty humble house. It's all timber construction kind of thing. Rather small. There's only like one bedroom in the back. Um, the kitchen and this kind of sitting area are kind of just next to each other. Um, she's got her table. She might have like a small place to like sit that she keeps for guests, a small couch, and she probably saved up when Owen was working to get. Um, the walls in here are um they're painted white to make it look nicer. So it didn't look so dingy, so it feels a little brighter in here. Um, there are pictures of Owen's family all along the walls. Um, she's got the kind of curtains kind of pulled in because we don't want people coming snooping around, but not that there's like people super close around, but you know especially since she's serving moonshine and stuff here. So um the table is very like solid but um construction, but clearly is like probably from the 1880s. Like it's an old table that's been passed down. um there are places like at the edges of the table where clearly people's arms have worn divots into it, and lit by gas lamps, a little oil lamp on the table, things like that.
Okay.
Terrifying question. You shared this house with Owen before he died, I assume.
Yeah, yeah. Probably with whatever money that the company forked over, she now kind of like owns this all outright. So that's the one thing she managed to do with whatever little bit they gave her.
Give me a sight roll.
That's a nat 20.
You definitely know that your white wall is scratched to hell. And in between this wreath of scratches is a star. And below it, it just says, beloved.
This is something I've never noticed before.
It's brand spanking new. And your friend is there, quietly waiting.
She is very distracted by this. Like y'all keep kind of whatever conversation is happening. And it's not unusual for her to get up and just like fuss about. But she gets up and she just goes to the wall where it is, and she just kind of traces the scratches, thinking about what could have made this and realizing it's that thing that's moving ever closer to her.
Would you allow a GM intrusion for an XP? If not, that's fine.
I'll take it. Yeah.
All right, give yourself an XP. As your hand kind of caresses across these scratches and your friend kind of fades out of your vision, you see the stars falling. Your world becomes that of the night sky. The mountains, the holler, and the sky is falling in a black night. And you see something hit not too far from the coal mines itself, and it is alive. And you're pulled back into the safety of your home. And you hear the word beloved.
She just visibly and audibly kind of gasps, like her heart skipped a beat. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know. I think I might have had a little too much to drink.
Well, sorry. Well, it looks like you've seen a ghost. Are you sure it's just the, she, gestures over to the jug?
Um, I saw something. I something bad's gonna happen. and she reaches her into her apron and just she rubs her hand in the salt that she keeps at the bottom of her pockets.
Do any of the rest of us see the wall and the damage to it?
No.
Oh, that makes it worse.
Yeah, that really makes it so much worse. Jasper will put a hand, will kind of grab your elbow. You good?
Might have rats or something scratching at my walls. Can't have that.
What are
I
you-
saw a fucking weird thing outside. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, like the deer with, and I describe as much best I can all the teeth and the horror. Try and do it casually, no big deal.
With that, and she's not in her own home. She's usually not prone to these outbursts, but she says fucking hates.
And with
Sorry.
that, we'll go into a break.
Okay. Sorry, Jaden. I think I
Perfect.
interrupted you.
No, it's totally fine.
Okay. Cool.
We'll come back in what, 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
It's good. See y'all
see,
soon.
See y'all soon.
see what yarn I spin. And welcome back. Where we left off is in the middle of Teresa's lovely little cabin. And Teresa's seeing something spooky on her walls and the description of something not right in the woods by Dare. Now, tell us a little bit more about that thing you saw there.
I just described the freaky thing. It's a deer that looks wrong, and lots of teeth, lots of eyes. Yeah, I kind of like to forget it, but thank you for bringing that up again, making me relive that moment in my life. That
Of course, that's exactly how I live. I want everybody to remember the wrongness of a deer.
yeah. Anyway, that could be what caused the scratches. Hopefully there's not more than one of them out there.
A deer getting into a house and scratching this up without anybody seeing?
And to just above the table, no one can see those scratches but me, right?
Right.
I'm more like, if you hear the sounds, I'm trying to justify whatever it is you think you saw. It could have been something like that, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good note.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, Teresa's gonna go in the kitchen and get the whole carton of Morton salt. And
Oh yeah. Anyone who wants to can make a knowledge check, history check, anything that would fall within the knowledge field, or if you want to argue something like nature or something else, or general something, just tell me.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm trained
listen.
in history. I don't think it works like this though. Yeah, no, okay. I think I just have to roll a d20.
Yeah,
I
there's
have
no
an
clicky
inability
buttons.
I have an inability in knowledge puzzles and problems.
Ooh.
our sweet
I
dumb
mean, you
boy.
could still roll.
Just a flat roll.
You might get
That's
a
a
nat one.
12.
No.
I have an inability in anything that involves patience to learn. So,
Oh, that's me in real life.
yeah, I was
Amazing.
gonna say. I wonder if any of us can relate.
That's an ADHD
Jasper.
mood for sure.
Jasper,
Staring in veterinary
what-
clinical student right now.
Jasper, you think Dare's just making shit up. Maybe it's too much moonshine. You're not sure. But deer can't be wrong. Not to lie. Fake news all the way around.
So
All right.
I have
And
an
you-
inability. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was gonna make a joke about, like, if you go hunt it and eat it. Like, I'm not touching that shit. It's hainted meat.
Oh my God, I love
Someone
it.
please clip that.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Sorry.
What did you roll, Beatrice?
Well, I am trained, so that takes a step down, but I still rolled a 10.
Okay. And you, Teresa?
I got an 18, but I don't know if this is relevant, but I have inability to understand magic and understanding magic. So
Well, this deer's not magical,
okay.
so you
Well,
don't
it's
need
an
to worry
18
about that. All right. Beatrice, It's a weird ass way to describe a deer, but you've heard weirder stories, especially around the town of Timber. It's nothing too terribly out of place. You imagine could be the moonshine talking. You're not entirely sure. But and same for you, Jasper. Fucking weird way to talk about deer. Deer or deer. What is it they're on about? But you, Teresa, know there are darker things in the world. And you would know this to be a not deer. That's what they've always been called. And they're generally not nice things. They eat people.
And that's definitely something in the woods I don't want to run into today.
Oh, come on. You can't be serious.
Now, have you ever known me to be unserious? The joke about a not deer in the woods, about seeing something, about knowing something's going to go wrong. Have I ever been wrong?
Fair point. Fair point. Sounds like something I definitely don't want to run into then.
I would ask you if you have your gun, but I ain't convinced that that's going to do anything if we see it again.
Well, I definitely have my gun, and that was the least comforting thing you could say.
Put a picture on the map for you to see the not deer.
Ooh. Oh.
No. Mm-mm.
That's definitely a not deer.
No. Ugh.
Oh. Thanks, I hate it.
Just be
Mhm.
thankful I didn't have the patience to learn how to draw.
But that is a not that is what you saw there. And you, Teresa, would know to exist.
Yeah, we've met people who are turned out to be pretty god awful. So I guess it stands to reason that some animals are about the same. I'm talking about Pinkertons mainly. You know,
Something's definitely off. Something's coming, something bad. And I don't think I got enough salt to deal with it.
Well, something bad coming, and we're talking about dealing with the rest of what's going on with the people of the town. I guess which of the two do we solve first? Or do we try to do both?
Well, the Haints are gonna do what the Haints know how to do. Best we can do is make sure everyone's fine and safe. So
Does that require a bunch more salt?
maybe we could throw it at some folks.
salt with a deadly weapon. You need both.
Probably can't hurt. Although we probably shouldn't test that theory.
Yeah, and dare take an XP for that. That made me laugh.
Do not encourage me. You know not what you have woken up in the mountain.
It's
Jen
so to
knows
go up my
full
nose.
well.
Oh, I know. Oh, God. Okay.
This is absolutely what happened to Numenera.
Let me tell you. Go on. Sorry.
The deck of cards sits at the table where y'all are all sat, and I, as a player, am waffling on whether I want to use the cards to figure out what's going on. But you can see Teresa kind of like has her hands on the deck, kind of like strumming her fingers on it. Just thinking, she takes a sip from the tin cups that she has served all of you in, and then cuts the deck and shuffles them. And I don't know if I don't think I have any abilities or anything. Let's see. No. I want to do some card reading about it.
Yes.
All right.
I am trained in using magic, and crafting magic, but and sensing danger. So
All right. Are you reading to the table or are you reading to an individual?
I think I want to read for the whole table, for all of us who are, especially we're here at like what seems to be a little bit of an inflection point, you know?
Okay. Now, you can do this naturally, but I have a tarot reading card uh, randomizer. If you want me
Mhm.
to read the cards you pull, it's totally up to you.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. I'll give you an XP. I'll consider this a GM intrusion on my part.
Okay.
All right. So with the cards spread, I would say, since there's 3 of you doing this reading and Teresa has catered this space for you, each of you can tap 2 cards each to create 6. And I will give you I would give you Beatrice and Jasper 2 XP for that, and 1 XP to you, Dare. That will cap you all at your 2 XP per session. All right. So the first card tapped. How you feel about yourself. It is, I'm not kidding, death in an upright position. Second card.
That's how I hope to go.
What you want most about right now. The Hierophant in the upright position.
The what in the upright position?
The Hierophant. I can screen cap up all these too. Third card, your fears. Strength in the upright position. The fourth card, what is going on for you, is the Hangman in the upright position. What it is going against you, the Hermit is drawn in the upside down position. The likely outcome, Magician in the upright position. Now you can interpret this how you want, Teresa. This is all you, but those are your cards.
Okay. I, if it's okay with you, I'd like to do a player intrusion. I would spend an XP to do a sudden vision
Okay.
that suggests our next course of action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Go ahead.
all see this. You see the Hangman move away from its position on the table and moves out of spot. It moves almost as if it's being drawn towards something that is not there. And then stops and flips over. And then you see it flip back over into the upright position. And you all get a sense of something will make you better and stronger as you are. And there are a few individuals in town that will make you better and stronger as you are. One of them is Silas, and the other one is Miss Jenny Brown, proprietor to all of Timber. So it's up to you in which direction you choose, but there's a positive feel in that thought, in that bubble, before the card kind of flicks itself off the table. As it does so, it settles and almost a crack in the floor, kind of like you threw it there, like it got stuck there. And there's a sense of sacrifice. Not immediate, but almost an afterthought.
Do all of us get the sense that this is our choice, or does Teresa need to interpret for us first?
This is what's being presented to you. Teresa may tell you, but that's what you're getting from this particular card. It's a jumble of thoughts, but those are the strongest feelings you would feel.
So if I'm understanding correctly, it seems like Jenny is a important player in whatever is supposed to come next.
Beatrice just kind of gives this exasperated sigh. Of course, she's the center of everything.
Well, Silas never showed,
Mm,
so I don't know if that means he wants to be left alone or if we need to go check that out. But
Something's definitely off. I don't know what Jenny has to do with it, but when Silas punched Mr. McCavish, I saw a flash of something. Something in his eye, in Mr. McCavish's eyes, were wrong. And now we're seeing signs and visions, and I get the nah, I ain't gonna say it.
I mean, maybe you should. I'm thinking that maybe these two problems we just identified are maybe closer together.
I just have a terrible sense of that people are gonna die, and I don't know if that's this telling me or just a bad gut feeling.
Well, we can stay out of it and let it happen, or we can put our finger on the scale and make sure the right people die.
Yeah, I think we ought to pay Jenny a visit, see what she has to say.
Oh, I'm sure she'll tell you.
And Silas, do we think that we need to check in on him, or do we think he just didn't want to join the party?
I don't know much about Silas, but I get the feeling that he can take care of himself. So let's let him cool off, and if we still haven't heard from him soon, then maybe we'll check on him next. That'd be
Right.
my take on the situation.
Yeah, and he said he
sure.
was going over to the mines, and who knows what kept him held up there.
True.
All right, that sounds like a next day thing, just kind of above the table. I don't know though.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. I don't think it'd be polite to go knocking on her door at this hour.
Oh, she'd
Just
be furious with all of you.
too bad.
You'd be so mad.
We have plot to get to.
Now I did invite Jonas to a card game in the back of the inn, the tavern, which you know, I don't know. It's going to be after his bedtime, so I don't know if he'll show. But he's just a kid. But you know, if we wanted to talk to him, we could. I'm sure he's going to be around. I'm not too worried about, you know, I'm sure that he'll get taken for everything he's worth at the card game that's going to go on before I get there. So he'll be taken care of. Don't worry. But if we wanted to talk to him, we could do that.
I mean, another set of eyes and ears and everything else probably couldn't hurt.
Yeah, I think it's worth the effort. Depending on how you feel, Teresa.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely talk to him. I don't know if he'll have any more insight beyond his own anger, but worth giving. He never hurts to have a few other perspectives.
Might find out about the penny dreadfuls in the city.
It's true, and the inn would be open still this late at night. It caters to all sorts of people passing through and the town itself. But yeah, it would still be open.
However, that does mean walking out in the woods at night.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
With the not deer, apparently.
With the not deer and
Around,
anything else.
Not
Yeah.
lions, not tigers, not deer. Oh my.
mhm. I mean, safety in numbers, maybe.
Perhaps.
You think?
Teresa will grab the hatchet that she uses to cut meat.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, you can make your way down to the inn. The card's still stuck in the floorboard. If you just leave it there, it's gonna be there when you return.
Oh, yeah, Teresa will pick it up off the floor and put the cards back in the deck and kind of cover it with a probably what was once like a flour sack cloth. So
Yeah, it's easily enough done. Put it away. You depart your home and make the trek back towards the city or town. Most people have gone to bed. Beautiful night sky, stars out clear. Moon still half full. Just a gorgeous night. The frogs finally have settled down. Cicadas are still loud as shit, but frogs at least have settled down. Just a nice quiet night all the way back. Little damp, a little muggy, but that's about it. But you can reach the inn, and it's bustling, bright, welcoming. Got everything you want in an inn. People are kind of calling to each other. Games of poker and moonshine are kind of being passed around. Jonas is kind of hunched over at the bar in the other room, kind of nursing what looks to be whiskey.
Is anybody with him? Anybody like drinking with him, or are they all sort of avoiding him?
Well, it looks like he's being generally avoided. The only person really tending to him is the barkeep Harris. But other than that, most people don't really want to associate with him right now. Silas is in the inn. You see he has fallen asleep at the table. Probably
Well, I
explains
think we
why he
found
didn't. Yeah, it explains why he didn't show up. He's literally passed out.
Teresa will go up to Silas and kind of like gently pat him on the back and say, "Hey, Mr. Silas."
You see him pull back and give you a very sleepy blink, and it's like, Miss Teresa, hey.
I think it's probably about time you sober up and go home to you and yours.
He kind of nods and looks at his drink. It's not empty by any means, but he looks at it and nods and stands up. You're right, you're right. Kind of lifts a hand and starts to head for the door. He pauses when he sees you there and says, Sorry, I forgot. And he presses his hands to your chest, and you feel something beneath his hand. And he just kind of moves around you and heads out into the dark.
What do you mean by feel something? Is this a magical type thing, or is this he pressed something into my, like he had an object, or what? What do you mean by
It
that?
feels like an object wrapped
Hmm.
around a bit of paper, or a bit of paper wrapped around this object.
And he handed it to me, basically, is what
Yeah,
you're.
it's.
Got it.
You get the strange sense he knows he's being watched.
Hmm. Cool. I pocket it as subtly as I possibly can, and I look around to see if anyone just saw my interaction with him, which everyone was looking in my direction.
Roll me a perceive, seeing. If you don't have that, just a d20.
I've only rolled two different numbers so far this game, 19 and 15. This is so weird.
It's fine. It's not no. Then if it's supporting all my plans, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
There is one person kind of watching you, and kind of watch this exchange, and you know her to be Jessica. She's kind of sitting at an angle in the other side of the bar, kind of watching both rooms, and she kind of catches your eyes, tilts her head, but returns to her companion.
I yeah, I just pocket the thing for now. I don't try to look at it.
Sounds good.
Do we want to join Jonas at the bar?
Sure,
I
let's make him
reckon
feel
so.
welcome.
Yeah.
The welcoming committee.
Oh no,
Right.
did you just coin a team name in episode 1? Dare you?
How dare. But you can saddle up to Jonas. He looks a little worse for wear. You do see that he has a bit of a busted lip. Looks like he got into a fight or somebody roughed him up. He has a nice little shiner around his eye. And he kind of looks up to you and is like, hey. So, this town's great.
You good, man?
He shakes his head, then nods. I can't feel my legs, points to the glass.
I guess that's something. What What happened to you?
Got jumped. Went out to get some fruit for Mr. Harris here. Got jumped. Now I'm drinking. As he
Hmm.
nods to his glass. Halfway through, it looks to me moonshine.
Well, that wasn't very nice of our fellow townsfolk.
Yeah. Had an easier time up in Lexington, honestly.
Is that where you're from, or are you more of
No, I'm
a?
actually from Toledo.
Oh, so you're quite a long way.
Yeah. We used to work on the boats before all this mess. He kind of straightens up, realizing he's talking to a lady. He's like, he kind of tries to pull himself upwards, not very successfully.
Just kind of gives a smirk at that. As I say, well, you're about as far as you can get for needing too many boats. Um, and I please don't take this question the wrong way. It's a very blunt question, but I don't mean it in an accusatory way. But what made you want to come to this little tiny town of Timber?
Oh, the union boss actually sent me here, miss. I really want to come, but that's where they sent me. I mean, all honesty, I have a job to do, and this is my job. I make sure that the mines are fixed and good, and the railways aren't good, but we're trying to get that in order. But hey, maybe we can get the railway system. But I don't know about the railway system. I just think the unions are good for people. And Mr. McCavish, he swings his hand, sending his drink flying across the room. He's a dick. Pardon language.
I
Miss.
love him so much. We're keeping this one. Oh.
You're not wrong.
You're a good judge of character, sounds like.
That's what my mama said before, she sent me off to work on boats.
Things improved in Lexington after you all organized a bit.
Yeah, it improved a lot actually. They think about putting teachers in the union too. So yeah, yeah. I help that. He kind of sits up straight, wobbles, and nearly falls off his chair.
And it was just you, or did they send a team or a?
No, we had he kind of looks at his hands for a moment. Are my fingers supposed to be numb? Is that why they have moonshine here? Make you all numb? He kind of flexes his hand a bit. Oh, as a team of 5, that's right. He looks at his hand, still kind of flexing it. I was actually learning under Mr. Tobias, and he actually taught me everything I know. He thought I was be good, and he thinks for a moment. I don't remember the rest, actually.
Well, tell you what, you maybe your memory will come back to you after you take a good rest. Feel like you've probably partook a little too much of the local drink.
This is this is nothing, miss. He looks around for where his drink has gone to. Harris has moved it out of his reach. It's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. It's fine. He stands up and face down into the ground. Out cold.
Well, I
Yep.
don't think. Sorry,
No, that's just yep.
I don't think we'll be getting our poker game tonight. But
Let's put it that way.
sure would like to know when the rest of his boys are going to come here. Tobias and the lake. Where?
Harris speaks up. Fortnight from now. Young lad hasn't shut up about it.
Much obliged, Harris. How's business?
It's better. George is keeping me well supplied. Least don't care.
Where do you suppose he gets all these apples?
He kind of thinks for a moment. No, no. Not my business to know.
Would I have known about any shipment that came in of apples? Would that be an unusual thing that I would have heard about?
Yeah, it's especially since apples are very out of season at the moment. It's springtime and apples rarely last the winter, especially out this way. If they do last, they are very coveted and stored and protected. But apples in the middle of timber, out in the middle of nowhere, very unusual. And no shipments have come in.
And I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
Well, fermentation's a magical thing, so that Georgie sure is a wizard.
Harris laughs. I suppose he is. Whatever he's doing, this is the best stuff since, well, beer. I'm gonna take Jonas upstairs. If you want something else, just take it from the back. They won't mind. Maddie's watching the bar. He nods to a woman down towards the end. You all know her to be the local kind of fur trapper. She sells fur. She brings them in through various towns. And she's kind of watching you all with this kind of steel hard glaze. She's perhaps the coolest person in Timber.
Nice.
But Harris picks Jonas up carefully and kind of drags him upstairs, leaving you to the bar, your drinks, and kind of whatever you want to do here.
Is there a corner of the bar that's of the room itself where we could basically be secluded? Like I could say, take something out of my pocket without drawing attention to the entire room and show it to a select group of 3 other people.
There is. It would be down towards this kind of back area, down past Maddie. Giannis has cleared off the stage. He's prepping it for tomorrow's dance.
I
But
thought you were going to say magic show because we did the magician card earlier. Okay.
Yeah, there's
Alright.
a dance tomorrow, and he's been prepping the stage. But he's going off to talk to people, and Maddie will leave you to the piece. She won't bother you.
Cool.
She doesn't care about you. In fact, she's kind of just making sure you don't steal something from the bar.
Before we say goodnight, friends, I have something to show you, and I sort of signal you to follow me to the corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Follow over, pull up a extra chair.
Yeah, I have my back to the room, which is something I almost never do because I'm a paranoid piece of shit. But I just say like let me know if anyone's approaches, and I sort of pull out this thing that's like Silas handed this to me on the way out, and say with the indication that he was being watched. So I'm learning about it just like everyone else is right now.
Mm-hmm. You kind of pull out what looks to be a stone with a smoothed out hole in the middle, and kind of neatly tied to it in weird, awkward way that paper behaves is what looks to be a kind of folded letter wrapped around this hole, kind of pinning it all together. But you have the stone and you have what looks to be a folded paper in front of you.
I unfold the paper.
As you do so, it's coarse, some of this parchment like. It's mountain paper, more or less, has that weird texture to it.
I thought you were going to say it's not paper.
It's not paper, it's skin today, folks.
No. No.
Don't give the GM ideas.
Not an Necronomicon in episode 1.
But as you unfold the paper, kind of laying it flat, you see in a very kind of almost crooked handwriting the word beloved.
It takes me a second to read that word. Okay, I'm there. Beloved. Huh.
That's what Teresa will kind of look around, make sure no one's listening. That's what that hate scratched on my wall.
Interesting. What does it mean? Like, I know what the word means, but what does context mean, I guess?
Player has read Toni Morrison, but I don't think Dare has. Um, I does this look like something that Silas wrote, maybe? Does it look
Mm,
like a man's handwriting?
a man who has a very basic grasp of writing would have written this. You get the sense
Okay.
that Silas himself, yes, did write this.
Okay. And it's pretty
Include
unusual to have a paper folded in a rock with a hole in it, I imagine.
It's quite unusual, yeah.
Yeah.
The stone itself with a hole in it is unusual. The way that Silas had pinned it together was strange. Like
Mhm.
it's you're not quite sure, I would say. But if you want, all of you can make a knowledge, magic, or general understanding roll if you want to understand what this stone is.
I'm trained in crafting magic, and this is looking like some sort of like ward or something I'm familiar with.
I would argue, yeah, it would be part of that particular branch of magic.
Okay.
16 for me.
This is
Or-
gonna be a flat roll.
14 for me.
Nice 8 there.
Does
They're just good.
I'm sorry, does being trained in a skill add anything to a roll?
+1.
+1. So that'll be 15 then.
Nice.
Dare just assumes it's a mystery and he wouldn't be able to figure it out. So, he didn't fuck with that.
um, you did you want to roll, Jasper?
Yeah, I got a 16.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. Okay. You, Beatrice. It's a nice rock. Maybe granite. You're not sure. It's a nice rock with a hole in it. Um, you, Jasper, and you, Teresa, would understand this to be a hagstone. Something from the old world, something Scottish and Irish immigrants would have used at some point to seek out the supernatural, particularly fairies or goblins, what have you, whatever their lore was specific towards this, it would allow them to see beyond sight. And you, Derry, it's a nice rock. It's really pretty, has some really nice red flecks in it, but it's something you wouldn't mess with. This is above your pay grade.
Reminds me of something out west I tried once called a donut. Glad we already ate. Do you share that information about the Scottish and
Yeah. It's something that Teresa would be familiar with, like, her great grandmothers from the old country.
Mhm. Nation of origin probably has a lot of meaning for a lot of the people around here. Would I know whether, or we know whether Silas is from that part of the world or Silas'
Yeah,
family?
Silas would be first generation immigrant son. So he's basically just one removed from Ireland, particularly. His family comes from Cork. He was forced, he and his family were forced here during an upheaval. It wasn't a nice time back in Cork. Something was going on. He doesn't talk about it much, but he lost his sister during this move. And you would also know that Silas is a very superstitious man, and he does honor a lot of the old ways, especially from the old countries. You see him blend a bit of Irish and Scottish mythologies together because his wife is Scottish, so they kind of merge the two things, especially when he's leaving out the first bread of the day to anything around him. He does this quite almost in a religious, practical manner. He wants to make sure whatever's out there doesn't fuck with him.
So there's the two questions, which is why did he write this beloved on the thing, and then why did he hand it to me in secret as if he didn't want somebody else to get it?
I don't know. I don't know what he's trying to win. The day Owen died, I started seeing some sort of shadowy figure Sometimes out the corner of my eye, sometimes I saw it plain as if it was actually there. I don't know if that's the thing. It feels the same though. It feels like that thing is calling me beloved. I You throw salt at it, it'll go away like most haints would. But I didn't know Silas was seeing it. Seems like he was trying to keep it happy in as much as you can keep a creature like that happy. And I just sent him on his way alone. Maybe we need to. I'm concerned about him being safe then.
You
I
think there's
reckon
something?
so too.
You think there's something unusual about this night?
I ain't never seen so much happen at once.
That's fair.
Yeah, would anyone know if it's like something weird, like a solstice or something? Why are the planets
question.
making everything weird?
Mercury's in the
I-
microwave again.
Yeah, he's dipped in the Gatorade.
If you want to gain that knowledge, you can make a general history roll, mystic
Ooh.
roll, what have you. Something along the
Yes.
lines of general knowledge.
All
Or
right,
just
I
a flat
am
intelligence
trained.
roll, whatever you want to do
Yeah.
there.
I'm trained in history. I'll do it. 16.
Mm-hmm. Are you using that -1 to your rolls?
Oh, you're right. From the yeah, okay, so 15. It's a flat.
You haven't recovered from it yet.
You're right.
Even with the 15, no, it's just the middle of spring. The equinox has passed. The you still have first day of May coming around the corner, but other than that, nothing weird. It's just a normal weird ass night.
I share the thing about the apples that that's pretty unusual that we would have a apple-based moonshine and at this time of year, and I don't have any reason to believe that we've gotten any apples. And I've been keeping track of what's going in and out of town because I like to fuck with that, or it's helpful for my bakery. So there's that. So maybe talking to George, but that's a thing for tomorrow. Talking to Jonas, another thing for tomorrow. We could either call it a night or we could check on Silas. I don't know that he had so much of a head start. I don't know that we'll find him tonight, or that we'll catch up with him. And best case scenario is we knock on his house when we get there and piss him off. I'm open to that. I'm open to going to sleep and figuring it out tomorrow.
And I do wonder if we used at their stone to look at the wall in your house, Teresa. Wonder if we'd see anything strange, I guess.
Damn, the shit you learn in books.
I'm just going off of the knowledge that you've told me. I had nothing to do with the hagstone. Hagstone, right? Okay. Gotta remember that. Um, had no idea about it before now. You learn something new every day.
Teresa just kind of instinctively just knocks at the table, like just kind of touching wood, and says, I ain't got a lot of other ideas. I don't like it, but it's not a bad idea.
So the hagstone is considered an artifact. You can mark that on your page, whoever wants to keep it. It has unlimited uses. However, each time it is used, the drawback is you get one step closer through the darkness. And you'll be starting at level 0. So once you reach 10, they can see you as much as you can see them.
Ooh. We want to have Dare hold on to that since it was given to him.
I have no reason to hold on to this freaky thing, so I'm happy to hand it off. I'm not scared or nothing. I just
Not it.
seems like something that you all would enjoy. I mean, I would love to keep as a toy, but you seem to appreciate it so much more.
I know
Yeah.
as much as I would want to, I have an inability to use magic and things, so it's probably not a good
Same.
idea for Beatrice to do that.
Teresa, if you want me to hold on to it, I will. And just let me know when you want to do something weird with it.
No, I got it. I'll hold it. Lord have mercy.
I mean, I can hold it. I just can't use it.
You can all use it, just
I mean, I
it
can
has
use it, but I have an inability,
consequences.
and that too. I don't know that I want to play with that.
Yeah, the inability moves you 2 steps up, where somebody who actually knows how to use it only moves up by 1. Consequences.
I'm trained in using magic, so
When the time
Um,
comes, if you want me to take one for the team, that's probably something that Dare will do. But
Yeah, same.
above the table. Like
Mhm.
Teresa's like very superstitious. She's also very good at this stuff. She's just yeah.
It's great. It's a great combination.
Dare is fatalistic in a lot of ways. He kind of knows where he's going, so not in any terrible hurry to get there. But
Yeah.
Not here to have a long time. I'm here to have a good time.
there you go. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we go home and just rest up and see what answers we can find in the morning when people are themselves.
Sounds like an
Options
idea.
is home. You can find Silas. Silas isn't so far up the path to his home. You won't miss him if you want to. But if you just want to go home, that's completely fine.
Catching up to Silas is I think Teresa would walk away to where would see if she could intercept Silas on the way home. So if anyone wants to come with her, that's fine. Like there's
No, we're gonna let you walk alone in the woods after all of this. That sounds like, and we're gonna split the
Great
party,
idea.
which is a great idea too.
Mm-hmm.
Player
Yeah.
and character being stupid.
Do it.
All right, sure, sounds good. Yeah, let's
do it.
let's follow.
Good
Yeah,
idea,
yeah,
you.
I'm for it.
Do what I dare you.
And this is episode 1.
Great.
How fast can Gen
I, of
TPK
course, follow.
party? Real fast, guys.
Very fast.
Yeah.
Especially
I
all these
believe you.
trees, apparently.
All these trees. Oh my
approximately-
god.
2 hours and 45 minutes.
That's right.
So, Silas lives in the woods, and he lives fairly close to mine. He has a lot to do. He is he's a busy man, and you know him to be kind of a busybody with everything. But you kind of intercept yourselves into the woods, and you see a couple lanterns on the ground. One is flickering, the one is other kind of almost ready to die out, and by the time you reach it, it does die out. But the other one's still flickering away. You see footprints, could be Silas's. He has a bit of a heavy set gait to him for a large man, and as you kind of reach a point, you see someone kind of step into the light here, and it looks like Silas.
Don't like the way you said that.
Mr. Silas, is that you?
He pauses as he's mid kind of stooping to pick this lantern up, and he turns towards you, and you see a cut across his forehead. It looks like something got him across the forehead. And then he smiles in this brilliant, kind of quiet way, very not him. And he kind of throws up his hands, and you see his face shift to that of a very young man. Kind of bright, curly hair, brilliant blue eyes, a very clean outfit. And he says, "Well, look at all you. I'm honored you've met me tonight. Welcome to the crossroads," as he gestures to the woods around him. "Let's make a deal." As he kind of gestures to what looks to be 4 stone seats. that were suddenly just there. You're not sure how they got there, but they're there now. And he sits down next to the lantern and puts it in front of him, gesturing kindly welcome, and he says, I am excited for all of you. I've been watching each and every one of you for some time, and I am excited.
What is it you want, you demon?
Oh, don't be so insulting, Miss Teresa. I'm not a demon. I can be very helpful to each and every one of you. We just need to talk the finer points.
And what makes you think we're interested in a deal tonight?
Looks up at the sky. Just a feeling. As he looks back down to all of you.
Well, you're here. Make your case.
He stands up, brilliant, as he kind of goes into the showmanship style. I am here to help all of you. I've always been here to help all of you. And call me such a name as demon is bit insulting. I don't deal with that sort of folk. No. I can, but I don't. Now, I can offer you whatever you want. Anything on this world that is mine to give, I can give it to you. For a price, naturally. We can't have an equivalent exchange thing. That's not how the natural world works. There has to be give and take. Now, each of you wants something, I'm sure. It's just a matter of what and how much you're willing to give. I don't want anything special. We can always revisit, negotiate the contracts, and my word is gold. I promise you that. Anything on your minds?
Did you do something to Silas?
Oh, well, I didn't do anything to Silas. Silas is resting nice and soundly where he deserves to be.
That's a very slippery way to avoid an accusation.
It's the only way I know how to, miss.
How do we know that whatever you're going to offer us won't be tainted with a downside that we didn't anticipate?
If that's part of your negotiation, I will give that to you. But if there's no stipulation, I can't guarantee your safety. But as I said before, I am here to help you, and my word is gold.
You sound kind of like a company man.
That's what they all say. I suppose that's true. I can sound more like you if I want. As his face shifts and he looks like a miner straight out of the mine. Is that what you want?
It ain't how you say it, it's what you say.
He shifts back to the elegant man. I could never act to master the human mimicry. It's all jumbly. You're all sticky sort of folk.
I have no interest in deals with devils or demons or whatever the hell you want to call yourself.
Neither devil nor demon. I am above all that nonsense. I'm something much older.
You got a name?
He thinks for a moment.
Don't remember?
No one's ever given me one. At least one I didn't take. You can just call me Crossroads Man. But I'm not a demon. I'm not the devil. Trust me, I know what he looks like, and it ain't me. He's a bit more. He kind of smiles and tilts his head. Horny?
You the one giving me visions? Trying to taint my answer? Ask you
No.
for some sort of divine intervention?
No, that's not me. That's something else. Something. He looks to your left. Sweeter.
There ain't nothing left in this place for me. And I've taken enough from men with silver tongues.
He looks almost amused by that answer. But he sits down on his rock and thinks for a moment. How about this? As a gesture of goodwill from myself to all you, fine, sticky little humans, you get one from me for free. That's how much I want to help all of you. Because I want to see it all spin out, and me offering this for free is a fair exchange for that little unspooling. Of course, you don't have to choose right now. One for free can be in any time, any place, any moment. Just call my name. I'll be there at the crossroads, waiting.
You have a good night, Crossroads man.
See you around, Mr. Dare. Your pappy would have been proud. As he stands up, picks up the lantern. Have a good night, folks. And he slips away into the trees and the light snuffs out, leaving you in darkness.
Well, that was a good idea, Teresa.
I don't like this at all. And she's looking to her left at a thing that she can't see.
Jasper will just put a hand on the middle of Teresa's back. Perhaps we should get home.
That sounds like the best idea any of us has had all day.
Though I am still a bit worried about Silas.
Me too.
Yeah.
Think that thing has him. And I don't think it's going to be the last person that this thing bothers.
Well, it's not like we're gonna run anything more scary than that. I'd be okay with walking the rest of the way to Silas's just to see if we spot him. And
Yeah.
best case is maybe he's passed out on his way home.
Yeah. Teresa will pull out a flashlight that she grabbed. So we're not completely in the dark here.
It's
Yeah, I've got a light too.
flashlight is not in the modern term. Let's say it's definitely one of those flashlights you have to wind up. And it gets very small beam of lights. One of those annoying ones, old ones. But it'll do. But you make your way up to Silas's. Trek is quiet. The birds aren't singing. Nothing's making any noise. And you see Silas's home near what looks to be the entryway of the mining encampment. Lights are on, and you see Silas sitting on the porch, smoking on a pipe. His wife is pressing what looks to be a bandage to the side of his head.
Well, I say we don't disturb him anymore tonight, but I'm open to checking on him if anyone else wants to.
Now, if it looks like he made it safely home, Teresa's not going to bother him either.
Yeah.
Other than the bump on his head, he looks fine. He's letting his wife fuss over him. He's just kind of nodding now and then, saying he promises he'll be more careful in the dark and promises that when he goes into the mines tomorrow that he won't be reckless. And this kind of follows you back down the trail. But it's uneventful the rest of the way.
All right.
Scattering to your homes.
Beatrice, you mind if I walk you home? The last leg that after we drop off Teresa and Jasper.
Yeah, that would actually be mighty fine.
I appreciate it.
Safety in numbers, even if it's only two.
It's because I'm worried about you. I'm not scared. You know?
Oh, of course.
Teresa, perhaps I should stay on your couch tonight. Things have been a little weird.
That ain't a bad idea. And once we're separated from the other two, Teresa will grab your hand to walk the rest of the way home.
Give you a little squeeze.
Yeah, it's despite the trepidations of the day and night, it's nice to have somebody's company at your side for sure. Mocking tone of the crossroads man, it rings all in your ears. He wants something from you and you all know it, but bigger mystery is beloved. What does that mean to all of you? with the moon hung high in the sky, pushing its way past the other side of the ridge and the all encompassing, entangling forest kind of holding your space around Timber. You all go and to your respective homes, rest, and when the morning comes, there is a bang on your door, Beatrice, and Miss Jenny Brown is screeching up a holler. That's what we'll pick up next week.
What do you mean? I didn't do anything.
Amazing.
Love it.
Huh? Uh-oh. Someone's bubble.
I think we're all in a little trouble.
Yeah.
But as I pull ourselves into the outros, thank you guys for all of this. I can't believe we're going through this. I love Old Gods of Appalachian. I love the cipher system. I'm glad to bring all of you into this. I will say that I am Jen. I was your storyteller for today, spinning some yarn, bringing some new friends along the way. Now that it's time to go, let's remind everybody who you are, guys. Let's start at the top. Alex, fire away.
Hey everybody, I'm Alex. I've been Alex. I'm from Ohio, but not Toledo, and I live in North Carolina, but not Appalachia. I write and perform as Lex Wilson. Something to promote a video game I had a hand in writing called Eye of the Temple is a VR game. It is currently on sale on Steam, and it might be also on sale on the MetaQuest 2 and 3, I think. It's a really cool game, and I can say that because I had very little to do with how awesome it is. It's mostly about this mechanic, but it's constantly on people's best VR games of all time list, at least until there's more VR games out there. It's a really innovative puzzle system with like an Indiana Jones exploring a temple. Yeah. Alexotica on Twitter, lexwilson.com for everything else.
Thank you very much. And Mal.
Hi, I'm Mal, aka Archangelic. You can find me here on this channel running both the Heir of the Dragons on Sunday nights, Girl by Moonlight, Tuesday nights. We went over all that in the announcements, and here, of course, playing Teresa. You can find many links for me. My website is archangelic.space. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Sir Heckelock. Tell us a bit about yourself as we leave tonight.
Yeah, hey everybody. It's me, Sir Heckelot. Now you know. That's usually my tagline, but it's episode 1. So get used to that. I'm here. I'm on your screen, and tonight I played Beatrice. You can find me all over the internet at Sir Heckelot, including Twitch, Itch, I guess Twitter, as long as supplies last, etc., etc. Just find me. That's the best place to figure out where I'm going to be in the TTRPG space next, because I tend to wander a lot and wear a lot of hats and do a lot of things. So that's the best place to know, because that's what I do not shut up about on socials. And if you like cool veterinary school updates, I do that a lot there too. I just started clinics. Today was my 3rd day. So there's going to be a lot more interesting stuff in the future. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. But yeah, that's me.
And Siliqui, tell us a little bit about yourself as we leave tonight.
Hey, I am Siliqui Jaden. You can find me everywhere online as Fat Sapphic Bro. I mostly hang out on TikTok and make a variety of content, so feel free to follow me there. As for streaming, I gave it all in the announcement, but a quick little nutshell. I'm here on Twitch most Sundays, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m., most Mondays, 5 to 7 p.m., Tuesdays, 6 to 9 p.m., and Wednesdays, 2 to 5 p.m., all PST. Thanks for hanging out with us.
And a big thank you to one and all for joining us tonight. A little spooky story, bit from my hometown, and bit from stories I've gathered while doing my own research as a ethnographer. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me here. You can find me just about anywhere in the TTRPG space where I linger or just bounce about. But as we put out the fires for tonight, put out the candles, and go to bed, thank you. Have a good night.